And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's your favorite homegirl, E. Reed, your favorite host who loves to smile the most. I'm back, y'all. And you know what? I want y'all to sit back, relax, turn it up, and check this out. And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's your favorite homegirl, E. Reed, your favorite host who loves to smile the most. I am back with another episode from Reality Radio Presents Binge and Rewind. And today we're talking about Netflix, Kevin Hart's Netflix series. This is episode 6, and it is called The Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven. Oops. Kingdom of Kevin. Kingdom of Kevin. All right. So, this is the episode that goes on after he makes the announcement that he is going to host the Oscars. Because in the episode prior to this one, and if you have not listened to it, please go back and listen to the review episodes that I've already done. I've done each one through 6. Each episode on Netflix is 24 to 30 minutes. However, the reviews are not that long. So you got, on a couple of them, they're not even 10 minutes. Okay. So go back and binge and rewind the reviews that I've already done and leave a comment in the comment section. You talk, I talk back. All right. Love y'all. Now let's get right into this. So like I said, this episode goes into after he makes the announcement of being being invited to host the Oscars, and he accepts it. And next thing you know, here goes the biggest scandal that's now connected to the Oscars and Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's tweets back from 2009 and 2010, or 2009 to 2010, and some of those tweets we saw in jokes, because he did it on his stand-up special when he was talking about his son being gay and how he would react to it and what he would do. And so that's what started the uproar and went viral when people were speaking out about how he felt about the gay community. And so the Academy gave him an ultimatum, like, you need to apologize, or, we're not going to be able to have you host the Oscars. And so Kevin decided that he was going to stand up for himself and basically did a whole, like, do you response kind of a thing. Like, that was basically his response to the ultimatum, like, do you. And I say that because he went on, I don't know if it was Instagram Live or Snapchat, but he made a video talking to the Academy Award as if he was clapping back, kind of a situation, and said that he wasn't going to apologize. And he publicly announces the denial to apologize. And I think he felt like the Academy Award was telling him what to do, and he was fighting for having a voice and not being told what to do by Hollywood. I think that's what he thought he was fighting for, when that wasn't the case. But that goes to show how disconnected he was, because even in his one-on-one interview, he tried to make it seem like, he's grown from that, and he's grown as a person, and he's not the same person he was back then, and all this and all that. So you're telling me you didn't know about the gay culture and what they go through and homophobia? You didn't know about none of that in 2009? None of that. None of that. And I know he said, because in part of the episode, it shows him having a conversation with his partner, and which is where the whole joke and everything in the tweet came from, because he was having a conversation with his friend, and he used that as part of his stand-up, and it came back to bite him in the butt. And instead of, I don't know, I feel like he's just making an excuse when he says that. You know what I mean? But anyway, the public feels like he didn't apologize when he, took a stance on him not saying do you to the Academy. And his team doesn't feel like he apologized. His team, like I said, or I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but they've been doing damage control. So this whole time they've been trying to do damage control, and he's just out here running amok. He's just there's a fire ablaze, and they're trying to control the fire. And while they're trying to control the fire, here you got Kevin Hart just out here with lighter fluid. Like, oh, okay, you over there, but I'm over here. See, woo, you know what I mean? Like, I guess you could understand why they called it Kingdom of Kevin. Like, he just out here wilding, doing what he want. And what made it so profound for me personally, because I know I've watched all these comedians that are mentioned in the group of black comedians that have been invited and have done and have hosted the Oscars. Excuse me. He would have been among a group. Oh my goodness. Sammy Davis Jr., Richard Pryor, Chris Rock, Whoopi Goldberg, and then there would, excuse that firecracker, then there would have been Kevin Hart. He would have been amongst that group. Do you know what I mean? That would have been amazing, because that's he would have been the comedian for my generation. Because Whoopi Goldberg's generation is the generation before me. Chris Rock is Chris, like baby boomers. And then Chris Rock is the one that's just above me. And Kevin Hart would have been ours. And of course you have Richard Pryor, who would have been before Whoopi. And then you have Sammy Davis Jr., which of course was before Richard Pryor. So I'm just saying, every generation would have been represented had Kevin Hart not messed that up. He had one job to do. And for me, that he set the black community back when it comes to taking ownership and having emotional intelligence and control and looking at the bigger picture without our egos in the way, which has nothing to do with race. He wasn't able to do that. And for me, that's so embarrassing. But, that's, maybe I'll go in detail about that in my 2 cents. Maybe I will. I don't want to keep rambling on. But I just thought that was like, he had a shot. So that was disappointing. And then he goes on Twitter and he tries to compare himself to some Martin Luther King quote. Don't ask me what it was. I don't know. I didn't write it down because I thought it was, not worth writing it down. Anyway, so his team has to continue to do damage control. He will not be quiet. And at one point, one of his people in his camp was like, she said he just needs to shut up and put his head down. Because he's creating a bigger and bigger hole. Like, he's just running at the mouth. He's running at the mouth. And he will not be quiet. And so now his company is now at risk, for his actions. And they have this, employee meeting, and the employees, the head people, the department heads, that's what I'm trying to say. I could not get that out for nothing, y'all. The department heads are sharing what they have to go through and how it's affecting them in his actions and what he did. And as they're airing their feelings and their emotions and their experience throughout all of this based on what he's done or lack thereof, he just comes off as so nonchalant about it. Like, just so nonchalant in this meeting. And let me see what I put here. I must have wrote this all out for a reason. So I'm just going to read what I wrote. And I wrote it fast, so forgive me, okay? And I wrote, won't apologize because he has been known to represent learning from mistakes. Him not apologizing is him taking a stance on how high sensitive people are, and they want to focus on the past, and he wants to move forward. Ah, yes, that was when he was doing his one-on-one interview, and he was sharing his thoughts about the staff meeting and what they were saying. And he just felt like, he won't apologize. That's why he feels like he won't apologize for anything when it comes to that scandal. Because he has built an entire platform on people making mistakes and acknowledging that they made mistakes and moving forward. He has built a platform on that. And I can appreciate that, But the infidelity, that ain't no mistake. That's a behavior. So let's not keep crossing the line, blurring the line on that one. All right. So Kevin doesn't look at his actions. He doesn't see how his actions are affecting the staff. And he seemed extremely insensitive. Like, one woman was talking about, how she doesn't see him like that because she works with him and she knows him. And she knows that, he's not like homophobic or anything like that. But the people who are around her are doubting who she is by working with him. It's guilt by association, basically. That's what it is. It's guilt by association. And he's not acknowledging that that's what's happening. And I thought that was really, I felt like that was disconnected. He was being disconnected from the situation, And on January 4th, he decides that he's going to go on Ellen. Okay. And whatever now mind you, I haven't seen the clip of him going on Ellen. And I guess maybe I'll do that. And when I do my 2 cents talking about the series all in, as a whole, I'll talk about that too. So he goes on Ellen, and the public doesn't believe nothing he said, nothing he's saying. So they ain't buying what he's selling. They not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Okay. And what he does is what he's known to do. He turns around and he makes himself the victim. He cheated on his wife. He made himself the victim by being caught because he was on, his friend recorded him. When he had the fight with his friend, he made himself the victim by sending out a group text to his friends apologizing for his behavior, which I felt was very insincere because you didn't have a fight with the group. You had a fight with one person. Now, I can understand you saying I apologize for my actions and I went too far, whatever, but where's the one-on-one text that you should have sent to your friend? So that's the one I want to see. And so he turns himself into a victim, and then he goes on this apology tour, okay? And because he doesn't want to be seen as a homophobe or anything like that. And he's also promoting his movie, The Upside. And it's interesting because all of this is happening at the same time. He's going on the apology tour for his actions and doesn't want to be labeled a homophobe. And he's also promoting his movie. So everything is happening at the same time, And he goes on Good Morning America. And when he's asked about the situation, he says, "Get over it." And the way they did in the show, the way they edited it, it was just like simultaneous, like back to back to back to back to back to back of him saying, "Get over it, get over it, get over it." And then all of a sudden, after the backlash from him doing that on GMA, I guess he goes into hiding again, or hides behind his friends. And he says he talked to some gay friends, and they told him the reason behind the anger from the gay community. And they told him what he should have said. And so I guess they tried to get him to relate and get him to connect with what was going on because he was so disconnected. And this is where I was just like, what does that remind me of? Okay. He goes into he goes into his own little philosophy of what he's learned over these last several years, okay? And you're going to have to excuse me because I'm getting thirsty. And I needed to get something to drink before I say what I'm about to say, okay? I had to get ready. Because it's almost laughable. He had the nerve to say that he had learned that he's not Superman. He's not invincible. He doesn't know everything. And his way isn't always the right way. And he needs to take time to stop and assess. Now, here's the thing. This is why I'm not buying that. Okay? Because his mom had him active. The way he describes his mom and how active she was in his life and how much she motivated him and got him to be a part of things. These basic life interpersonal skills he would have learned by doing all of those activities as a kid. This is stuff he would have been naturally taught. It would have been a product of his experiences. Okay? And the fact that I don't know, maybe he forgot about him. You know, maybe he was blinded and had rose-colored glasses on about it since he's now a big time comedian and making a lot of money, you know. But I'm saying all that to say that I feel like him saying that this is what he learned at this stage in his life is a cop-out. I think it's a cheap shot. I think it's pretty basic. And I guess at this point, all we can do is just wait and see what happens. And see if he did learn from his decisions. I'm not even going to call them mistakes. I'm going to call them decisions. And I think that's something else we might need to do. I'm ranting off a little bit. And I know this is a longer review. But I had a lot more notes. And it was because this was the final episode. And they packed in a lot of moments where that needed to be dissected, you know. So that's why this is a little bit long. So I hope you guys aren't bored with me. I hope you guys are still with me. I really appreciate it, and I love you for it. Okay, but I want to tell y'all that I also feel like the way he's acting and how he's giving that basic excuse is a product of his father. He is his father's son, and he repeated the cycle. Whether he wants to believe it or not, outside looking in, and I'm no psychologist or psychiatrist, I've said this before, like in no way am I a professional in that, but based on what I've learned or from studying just on my own free time, it seems pretty clear, you know. The pathology speaks for itself. And he rationalizes his choices of infidelity and not apologizing as mistakes, as mess ups. Of course, he uses a more colorful word, but I keep it PG on this on this channel. You know, I want you at least try to. I said PG, not G. All right. So it just amazes me that on how he's able to do this, and he feels like the public should accept just as he has, that he isn't perfect, you know. And it's so funny because as he's saying those words, he's running up this big old mountain, jogging up this mountain, you know, looking all peaceful, you know, one of those aha moments, you know what I'm saying? Like the angels finna come out and start singing type of a thing. Forgive me because I was like a really low note, so don't. I know y'all gonna like give me on that, but that's okay. Anyway, so he wants us to, you know, just accept for who he is and accept that he's not perfect, when I don't believe anybody has ever put him on the pedestal to be perfect. I don't think anybody has ever looked at him in such a light. I think he did that all by himself, and therefore, you know, that's where he is, where he's at. You know, it goes back to his ego. And like I said, when you get into fame and money, you know, that just enhances it. It's no different than what they say about people. That's another thing they say about alcohol. Not only is it a truth serum, but when you are intoxicated, it just enhances who you already are. So it's like, you got people who are happy drunks and angry drunks. People who are happy drunks typically means at the core, they're happy people. They're loving people, and people who get angry when they're intoxicated, they're angry on the inside. So they got to let it out. And when they're on alcohol, they're able to let it out. I'm just saying, it ain't rocket science. Look it up. I'm just saying. But anyway, I love y'all. This is the end of the series and the reviews. Check out for my 2 cents on this whole series. And I'm going to go into depth about a little bit more other stuff. I'm not going to recap a lot of, I'm not going to go into detail about the episodes. It's strictly my 2 cents. Okay? Just my opinion. And I would love for us to have a discussion on that video as well. Or that, playlist as well. I just talk to me. Just talk to me. All right, let me get up off here because now I'm just being silly. All right, I love y'all. I'm finna get up out of here and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.